So 561 Music now has a hotline. You can call us anytime at 561-203-9122 and ask us any questions you like. Some humorous ones or something about the guests we've had on the show, or questions about gear, or questions about the festival, or anything you like. It's, of course, 561-203-9122. We would love to hear from you. We did a pretty fun little message, so you get to hear that too. Even if you just call up to listen to me and Hector trying to do a good phone message, that's a good enough reason. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you, so please get in touch.
Take it by the scene. It's what we're doing. Come and check it out. It's what we're all about. 561 Music.
Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you?
I'm doing good.
You have like a cheeky little grin on your face.
I don't know why I started laughing. I remembered my introduction from earlier. That's why.
Oh, gosh.
We won't get into that.
That's really funny. So we had we're in the middle of a pretty eventful couple of weeks, aren't we?
I mean, this is Hillbilly season, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like Irish everything, so that's us.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great, once a year. It's kind of like Killbilly's Christmas, it's when we're making hay while the sun shines,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Get a ton of awesome gigs. We played twice at O'Shea's on Friday and Saturday, and then we also played the Irish Fest
at Abaco. That was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun. It was a nice big crowd there. It was a good stage. Pro sound and everything, so it was good.
Yeah, totally. You were wrestling with it a little bit there,
right?
A
little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. I say that with a grin, but it was fine.
Yeah, the Irish Fest has been getting bigger and bigger.
Oh man, it was so much fun, and there was so many people there that I recognized that were either friends or people that I've seen at other shows and stuff. So it was cool to see everybody there.
Yeah.
The best part was I took a selfie of us from the stage with everybody in the background.
Oh yeah,
and I posted it, and then
Spike,
Spike commented on there, and he's like, oh, thanks for taking a picture of me. And I go, what? And then I zoomed in, and he's like, there he is in his kilted glory, all in the background there, standing there. It's hilarious.
It's so awesome. We have Spike and Mike, who are both sort of bearded, kilted Vikings that come and see our shows, and it's great. Only Killbillies would have such interesting fans as Spike and Mike.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they might be vampires too. Have you seen their canines? Both of those guys.
Yeah,
they have like big old canines.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever seen them in the daytime. It's always been at night. So it's possible. Yeah. That's possible.
Spike and Mike, if you're listening, hi, how's it going? Yeah. Thanks for all of the support over the years. We very much appreciate it.
It was definitely a weird gig weekend. We had the girl at because we played we played Friday night inside of O'Shea's, and Saturday we played at the outside stage at the Irish Fest at O'Shea's.
Yeah,
and Friday we were playing it's Irish times right now. It's St. Patrick's time, so we were playing predominantly Irish music. And there was that one drunk girl that came up, and she's like, play Zombie. And we're like, we don't play that. And, play Zombie.
But here's the thing. It is only 4 chords, and we probably could have done some kind of version of it. I know most of the words, but I just didn't want it. It's like yodeling that chorus and everything. It sounds like an idiot.
Well, it's not a very Killbilly song, Like, it doesn't really fit with all the rest of the stuff we do, really. It doesn't.
No.
But she just kept asking and asking and asking. And at one point, we broke down and said, okay, fine, we'll do it. And then she got up on the stage. So we're like, nope, you got to get off stage and we're not playing it.
I know. I sort of rather out of character. I really told her where to go, didn't I?
Yeah, but that's okay. She kind of needed that. And then she came back later in the evening, and then Carly, Ty's sister, we handed her a chair because you had just done the hurdy-gurdy, and she was gonna go put it back at the table for us, and then she just stood there, and I'm like, oh, Carly, it's fine, you can just leave the chair there. I thought maybe she was like, I don't know, she didn't want to move it or something, and she goes, no, I'm just standing here for a moment. And then I realized it's because that girl was coming back towards the stairs. So
Oh,
Carly was
yeah.
protecting us. She was standing at the stairs. She's
Aw, that's awesome.
yeah, she's like, I'm ready to cut a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't like a mean person, I don't think.
No,
and it
no,
really,
no,
honestly,
no,
is
no, no.
it's par for the course doing
No,
what we do.
she just had a few too many, and she wanted to hear Zombie, man.
Did she ever? I think she would have been disappointed had we done our weird version of it. The thing about that song is it's like light and shade. It has like the quiet parts, then it kicks into the super loud part.
I don't know.
And
I could do a mean version of Zombie. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe we're gonna have to play it this weekend, a hurdy-gurdy version of it.
Oh, see, now we're talking.
All right. So we have Cantaro with us today. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, very well. Thanks for coming and doing the podcast. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy to be here. I've watched a couple of these and just happy to have the opportunity to come
Nice,
talk to you
man.
guys.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you volunteered last year at the festival?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was a great show. My favorite band was Sandman Sleeps or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Zach's band.
They were awesome.
Yeah,
like,
amazing.
and then I followed them on social media, and they like released an album or something, and then they had the little like tiny vinyl player. I was like, that's genius. And like,
Yeah, totally. They're
but
really good. They really are sort of... they just have this feeling that, like, they're going to blow up,
yeah, they're unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're unique and professional, and they look great. They have
Yeah.
They have this kind of just general presence, which is just a little bit of a cut above most local people.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But where are they from? Here?
On Treasure Coast.
Okay, yeah, I thought they were a little bit up north.
Yeah, like
I don't
Fort
see them
Pierce.
playing as often here.
They play Respectable sometimes, and they
Yeah.
play Propaganda sometimes, and a couple other places. I think they've played down south a few times, even like Miami and like was it Tough Times down in Deerfield and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they've played a few places down that way as well. But they do travel a lot. They
Yeah,
played
that's how-
Orlando and Tampa.
yeah, that's how
and-
Orlando and Tampa was like the ones that I saw them like
Yeah.
playing a lot. I was like they're up there a lot.
Yeah, they're doing really well. They're playing a lot of places, and they just do so well with their marketing. Their social media is always on point.
They're really dope. They're
Yeah.
really like
I don't know if it's all Zach, but I know he's involved in it quite a lot. But he's really good at all that.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love that you went to 561 Music Festival and you saw Sandman Sleeps and you discovered them there. That's
Yeah.
the point of the festival.
Yeah.
So yeah.
yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So how did you find yourself becoming interested in music? Did you have musical parents? Did you have a supportive family in that way?
Supportive family, yes. My dad played guitar like growing up. He's like still plays in like bands and
Nice.
like bars and stuff. But I like fell in love with music. I remember the specific day, like it was a specific time. I was 13 years old. I went to Buzz Bake Sale. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
Back when tickets were like
It
so
was
incredibly
a little bit
affordable.
before my time,
13
but I've
bands
heard all
for
about
13
it.
bucks.
And when I
Yeah.
moved here, the Buzz still was a thing.
Yeah.
I think I had like a couple of years before it disappeared.
Where are you from?
I'm English. I was
okay,
born in
nice.
London, but I've been here since 2010.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like 13 years old. It was like my first concert that I went like by myself, and I saw Badfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they played like Santeria, and there's a video of me like on Facebook somewhere that my friend took, and I like crowd surfed for like a minute and 30 seconds or something crazy
wow.
like that.
That's
Like I was
awesome.
crowd surfing the whole time because I was a tiny little guy.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, back then, like there was a lot more like crowd surfing and like
Yep.
than now, and
Yeah, for sure. People were a little bit more used to going to those kind of shows, and everyone knew the protocol of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that maybe the pandemic's taken a little bit
I
of the
think
wind
the-
out of those
The
sails.
pandemic kind of broke the live show format, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because it's like, I don't know if we're going to keep heading towards the direction of like being more strict and stuff, or like, I mean, there definitely are some shows that I've seen now, but we used to like, all right, so like when I was 13 years old, I was watching them play Santeria, I was crowd surfing, and I just like looked around and I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. Like,
Yeah, man.
because it's like everyone's having a good time, like,
Mhm.
and especially like I've been really going through it recently, and like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Type beat, and
Yeah.
like I just think back to those moments, and like when there's harder times, like if you have a calling to be an artist, I think like the world needs artists because like we're kind of the ones that like ease the pain and like
Sure.
I don't know about you guys, but it seems like there's more and more and more suffering in the world, and I'm just like, you know what, like, I'll do whatever it takes at this point, because it's like, I feel like it's like more of a calling thing.
Music is therapy, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, for both the people who are playing it and the people receiving it, and the you know, I think the world has always been a pretty tough place, but we definitely hear about it a great deal these days because
Yeah.
everything's so connected.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you're like spot on, like, but it's like we hear about it more, which I feel like causes more like anxiety amongst people. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like you're always like, if you go on like Twitter and like there's just so much negative,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
weird how like humans like gravitate towards negative. Like negative stuff sells more, you
Yeah.
know, like, and like we had Okeechobee Music Festival. Like there was Okeechobee Music Festival that happened. I don't
Did
know,
you play it this year?
No, I didn't play it. But I
Right.
had some friends that played it, and like, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, man.
Shout out Rafiki. But there was like a supposedly a death. And
I heard about that. I don't.
Yeah.
Know, I only heard that there was one supposedly, but I don't know anything about it.
yeah, it was like some guy I think drowned in the lake. I don't know if it's like, I think it is confirmed. They did like post about it, but
Oh, God.
like the internet went crazy about the death, and like, yes, there was, and we need to talk about those. I think it's really two sides of the story. We need to talk about substance abuse, and we need to talk about safety at festivals.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it just like, that was all Okeechobee was. There was a death, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like all over the internet, and it's like,
It just destroyed the vibe of the whole.
yeah, and it's like, it's weird, man, like how like humans just gravitate towards like even like my friends in my like Facebook groups, like they were like, oh my God, did you hear? Like, did you hear? And it's like, why are like give the person like their space.
Yeah,
but
it's really
like,
none of
weird.
anyone's business. It's a terrible tragedy, you know. but
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah.
kind of how I feel in a way, and it's like, I don't know, I might get crap for saying it, but it's just like, I don't know, we just also need to like I just wish positivity sold more than negativity. Is really what I'm trying to get at. Like,
No,
It's
you're
kinda-
absolutely right.
It's kind of funny. I do I do real estate photography, and I was shooting a house or apartment this morning, a small condo, and these two older women that are sisters were living in there, and one of them actually asked me. We were talking about something, and she asked me, "Do I watch the news?" And it's funny that you say like, you know, the focus on the positive, not the negative, because my response to her was actually like, "Oh no, I haven't heard that story." She says, "Don't you watch the news?" And I said, "No." I said, because the news is always negative.
Yeah.
They never come on the news and go, "Hey, look at this. This is amazing." They always come on and go, "Look at these 14 terrible things that happened." You know,
Well, they always have that one thing at the end of the, you know, the
one
the
feel
classic
good
is-
story.
Yeah, and finally, it's the and finally.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Here,
That's very true.
look at this cute fluffy panda.
Maybe it'll be like, and finally, 561 Music Festival is happening.
That's a good one.
You can but hope. Yeah, I mean, it's important to know about these things, but I try and limit my news intake to, you know, when I get home from work, I usually watch about, I don't know, I just catch up on it, watch about sort of half an hour, 40 minutes of news related things,
and then you
put it
binge
together.
8 hours of Star Trek.
I mean, if there's 8 hours of new Star Trek, I'm binging it. That's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So, how did you get into playing electronic music, and who were some of the artists that inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like a reggae kid and a rave kid, which is like really two different worlds.
Yeah,
It's so
but
funny.
there's a- I
But
know
they're
there's
both
a- there
is
dances.
some crossover,
They're both
though,
like
yeah.
it's both like literally like dubstep is 140, and so is like a lot of reggae.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
dubstep originated from like
Exactly. It's
reggae
called
and dance.
dubstep
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
love of
Yeah,
God.
from dub, and so I grew up like going to reggae shows at the Culture Room and like watching the Supervillains like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Which was so fun. Like
Yeah, man.
as a kid. And then I also like grew up going to raves because truthfully, like the reason why I got into raves is just because I didn't want to stop like going out, and like
Yeah.
the shows would stop, like reggae, like most live music stops at like 12, you know what
Sure.
I mean? So then the clubs opened. And I just got into like staying out, right? And
Dude,
like
I can totally relate. That was my whole 20s was tons of raves. And I used to do a lot of that, like ran a sound system with a friend of mine, and we'd put on like free parties and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
So much fun.
yeah, there's and like there's a big culture thing around it.
Yep.
So I grew up like going to raves, and there was this club called Club Cinema, which if like you heard about it was like a disaster. Like I was like 14 going in like fake ID and stuff like that.
Right.
And like sometimes it was like a random ID and they wouldn't even check, and like they closed down like but it was a lot of fun. Like it was like, and they had one like every weekend, and it was always like just a good party.
Sure.
And back then it wasn't even like, it's weird, man, because like now like so much things are focused on like headliners.
Yeah.
And back then it wasn't like, I didn't know who the headliner was. Like I don't like, nobody really knew.
Just
like,
went and enjoyed it.
Yeah, and they had like themed raves. It was like Winter Wonderland, and everyone like dressed up like, you know, rave outfits, and like
Yeah, man.
it was like this new thing for me that I was like, and everyone was just so nice and like.
Yeah, you're right about the culture of it
friends.
as well. And it's almost like you can get deeper and deeper into it and find out more and more stuff. And I got to this point with it where I was just really into the super underground, like the free parties and the warehouse parties and stuff like that. That was my whole thing with it. I just loved it, you know. And so I think at a certain point, I think I was searching for something within it that wasn't there. You know, I think I was searching for some kind of meaning in there, and eventually it did kind of dawn on me that no, it's just a part.
Yeah. And it's very, very true, because it's like I've been both like in the performing side and then like the attendance side.
Yeah.
And like I remember I was at this one festival and I was like just having a grand old time, and like I was just like listening to music, and like I wasn't crazy focused on the music. I was just like having fun with my friends. And I was like, it's funny because sometimes like when you're a performer, like you like prepare and like you work really hard towards a set, and then like you go and like there's some people that just like don't give a shit. Like, they're just for the party, and it's like, and I've kind of like understood that like I take it a little bit less serious per se as a performer, and just like I just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, well, it's very important. I think you got to enjoy the journey in life, you know.
And I think, I don't know when it was, but like one of my friends told me like to just like kind of soak it in a little bit more.
Yeah, man.
So I remember like this specific moment I was playing. I opened for or closed for Borgore.
Yeah.
At some place in Fort Lauderdale. I forgot the name of it. I'm blanking.
I don't worry about it.
But yeah, it was a good show. There was like a good turnout. And like I was up there just like doing my thing, and at like 1 second I just like paused and like just looked at the lights, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And I just like sat there in the moment, and I was like, this is dope. Like all my friends are here. It was like 30 of my friends there, and like they're all wearing like my merch and stuff, and like
That's cool.
it was cool. And I was like, this is a good vibe. So like ever since then, like when I perform now, I'm like, I don't take it as seriously. Like I just go out there and I do my thing and I have fun. But the
most
preparation
of the hard
is
work
there.
has already been done. Yeah.
The preparation is there. Like I am like I prepare a lot. Like
Excellent.
I like work like on some sets. Like I'll spend 40 hours like working on like a set to make sure like.
Well, that's one of the
everything
questions
is,
that
like-
we ask on here is, you know, do you practice? And and that usually applies to sort of instruments. And, you know, in many ways, the decks and mixing is an instrument in itself.
Yeah.
And there's also all of the, you know, the practice. There's also all of the work that goes into the production of the song itself. So it sounds like you do practice a great deal.
Yeah. I think with DJing and like electronic dance music, like it's two things. Like you could either be like a really good DJ, or you can just be a really good producer that just showcases your music.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with either or. Like,
Sure.
if you're a really talented producer and you can go up there and just press play on like something that you've like really produced really well, like that's fine. You know what I mean? And you mix some of the songs, and like there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that's what you're going for, you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I think
But-
it's difficult for some people to understand where the artistry is in that, and the artistry is in the music itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do challenge like myself to take it like push a little bit harder and take it one step and like try to make a live show like we were talking about, something that you don't hear. But that also comes with like preparation and making like a bunch of live edits. You know? And like I've recently kind of like have been growing like my live performance to where like I make like 4 to 5 different edits of a song, and like in that moment I'll decide like which edit to play based on like the crowd and like whatever I'm feeling.
Sure.
That's cool.
Cause then it's like and these are never gonna be released. Like they're just the live edit versions. And
yeah, totally. Just to match the feel of the room, and yeah, totally. It's important. You know, we as a band, you know, basically do the same thing. You know, we switch our set around depending on what the vibe is. You know, we might play at this speed, might play at that speed, might play at this style or that style, just depending on the room.
Yeah. The biggest, I mean, one of the things that I love when I go see like live music and stuff is when they do like the improv with like the solos and like, you know, it kind of goes into direction, or like that thing where they start a song a different way and you're like, what song is that? Wait, is that and then they like the lyrics come and you're like, oh, that's like a new version that they did. Like I got that idea from seeing like Revolution.
Okay.
And like he had like different ways that he would play Feeling Alright, and like it would be like kind of different. There would be like some like drawn out like intro that you're like, he's dancing around like the main melody, and then he comes to that main melody and you're like, oh, like that's it, like that's the song.
That's cool. Yeah, so you really are a reggae fan, huh? This is quite
yeah, I was a reggae kid, grew up like listening. I still do, like I'm actually working with Tyler G.
Yeah.
You guys Vibes Farm. That last song, we have a couple songs together now.
I thought that might have been him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's shout out Tyler. That man is so good in the studio. Like
he's very talented.
Very talented. I gotta tell this story. I was in the studio with him one day and I was like, I feel like we need to add like some piano organs like right on this section to just bring something else interesting in this mix. And he's like, oh, maybe we can just like hit record. And he like goes up the keyboard and goes like, and like all the way down, and then goes like, ba-ba-ba-ba, and like just does it like perfect first take. And I'm just like, and I was like, that was exactly like,
cool.
Tyler is like one of the best people I've been working with. And like the first song we wrote together, like I played him like 3 different like reggae beats, and then he really liked one, and then he just like laid down a guitar riff, which was perfect, and then he just like laid down another. He did like a power chord on that riff, which was perfect, and then I like produced it a little bit more, and then made like a space for a verse.
Nice.
He was like, all right, play it. He, like walked around the studio for like 15 minutes, and then like had the verse and went in the booth and like killed it, like
knocked it
out. And I was like,
yeah,
because I work, you know, sometimes
doing that many gigs like he does, you know, like a lot of us do, it just gets you very able to produce it at a moment's notice.
That's exactly what it is. And like I've been in rooms with like writers and stuff that sometimes it's like, like you got to write a verse like a little bit faster. And like Tyler's like just really good, and it's so easy it's so nice to work with somebody that like can hear what's wrong.
Yeah. Like
one time we were recording a song and like he was like doing a vocal tone that was not like pleasant, and I was like, I think you need to go to like your higher registry. But I didn't say that, I just thought it. And he's like, I don't like this vocal tone, I think I'm gonna sing it like this. And then he like did it and it was perfect.
And
that's
cool.
It was crazy, man, because like we were talking about like some like soul type stuff, and he wrote about it. Like when the 15 minutes he was walking around, like he wrote about what we were talking about in that moment. And I was like,
that's great. That
is like where artistry kind of happens. And
for sure.
But yeah, we got some songs like that we're probably gonna release.
Oh, nice. You were talking earlier about but off mic earlier about getting together with artists in kind of these sort of songwriting sort of groups at like houses and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, okay. So I learned this, I got this idea because I think it's important. I'm part of this organization called the Billboard 500 Club.
Yeah.
And it's like the main guy is this guy named Addis McInnes, who's pretty like well known in the like sync world, music world. And he pretty much like had the idea of getting like a bunch of musicians together and like helping them kind of like get their music to where it's pitchable and like you can get placements and stuff. And he went on because he signed to Concord, which is like a big publishing like sync people.
Yeah.
And they do like sync retreats.
Yeah.
and which pretty much
That was what I was looking for. Retreat.
yeah, like they get a bunch of musicians like with labels and that are signed to them and stuff, like top writers and a top liner, a songwriter, like a producer, and then an artist typically. And they write a bunch of music for TV and film. So they'll have the briefs, and the cool thing there is they'll have like the music supervisors like in the rooms that are giving feedback on like. So what a sync brief is, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but it's like they pretty much describe a scene that they need a song to.
Yeah.
And sometimes they actually like give the scene like the actual like motion picture of like what the scene is, and then you kind of write about whatever it is that they're looking for, and they give you like reference tracks.
I really like it when I get that kind of a sync brief. It makes me. It's almost like a relief to not have to come up with the what the music has to sound like. It's like, oh, okay, so it's got to be this, and this. Let's go. You know?
Yeah.
It's actually really fun.
How is this different than and I apologize. I'm a sync newbie, like not you guys. So, but how is this different than like a music score to like a movie or a film or something?
It sort of isn't in a way. It's just a piece of it, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think I'm not like crazy. I don't know like crazy knowledge, but I think that there's a score with like the instrumentation, but then the songs, the music supervisor, and I think maybe even like the people who are scoring it go and find like actual songs from artists, and then they have to pay like the licensing fee, and like that's where like you can make like decent money from those sync checks, you know. Like but yeah, I heard about it in that, and I was like, why don't we just do that with like my producer friends? So we did it like maybe like a month ago. We rented an Airbnb in like Central Florida, and there was like 6 of us, 6 or 7 of us. We had 3 different workstations in the rooms, and we just like closed the door, and like it was awesome, man. Because I'm like a workaholic type person, like so like I'm up and like I'm working on music, and I was like a little afraid that people were gonna be like just hanging out and like partying and stuff, and like I just wanted to make sure like we all knew we went there to like make music, not to party.
Sure.
You know, and I didn't have to say anything. Like everyone was up and working. Like,
how do I get invited to one of these things? I'm so up for it. Yeah,
I want to do. We're planning on doing another one. Actually, the one that we did, we all made like sample packs, individually based on like the sounds that we created there, and we're trying to like sell the sample packs in order to like raise. And they do this. So I also saw this like kid that does this with like hip hop people on Instagram. They do this with like hip hop stuff. But I want to do one that's like more focused on like musicians, you know, and it's like just really getting the people together that are like feel would mesh well. You know, that's why it's a little bit easier, I would say, like with electronic music, because it's like we all like, and it was kind of a specific type of electronic music, dubstep.
You know what though? Even if you did get a whole bunch of different musicians that weren't like the same thing, that could end up being a good thing. Yeah.
As long as I would say like as long as like there's some sort of direction.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, we want to make songs. Because then like, or maybe, I don't know, the way that we did it there is like, we all knew we were going to this.
So these were all dubstep guys?
Yeah, these were all producers that produced dubstep.
Gotcha.
So that's why I was like, we all knew we were going to this. So like, we just pulled out like our ideas that we've kind of had been writing. And then like, we had like random songs too that we like the last night, we were just like all like musiced out because we did 4 days, I think.
Yeah.
And like the last night, we were just like, yo, let's just try to make a song. This is why I love like electronic music, because like we just try to make a song with like the sound of the fan, like humming over there in the corner. So like we sampled that, and then like we recorded this like chair like squeaking. And we're like, okay,
I've done that before.
Can we make something from that? And like that was the song, and it was like just like random ideas, but most of it was like people had ideas kind of already written. Yeah, like just the basic raw ideas, and then we all kind of contributed, and we'd get in groups. So it was awesome, man, because it was like we had 3 different workstations, and you just bounce from group to group, and like
what fun.
You would go in there and like be like, oh, let me add some stuff, and then like but whoever song it was would be kind of the dictator and like, oh, I don't like what you added.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
and it was no hard feelings, like, you know what I mean, like.
That's really cool, man.
I think
So
you got to know how to play well with others, don't you, for that kind of thing?
Yeah,
you know?
you have to like, it's like the whole like I don't know, a lot of your ego has to stay at the door.
Sure,
like,
you're sure, yeah.
you
What
know,
were you going
and
to say there, Hector?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
it's like, to me, it's like for me in a studio setting, I only want to work with people that say, if I have an idea, they say, let's try it.
Yeah.
And like when I'm working with an artist and he has an idea, the worst thing you can do is try it and it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you move on, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah. And it is surprising actually, where like that sort of weird ego monster comes out in people you would least expect as well. People get really butthurt about stuff, you know. And it's I think, I don't know. I feel like I've been doing this for long enough now where I just really, unless it's like some kind of pet project that has to be exactly a certain thing and I care unbelievably massively about it, I just, you know, want to make music.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like when James, you and I get together and we write something, I feel like there's no egos there.
No.
yeah.
If you come to us with something or I throw some chords at you or whatever, like nobody gets butthurt about anything. We just say like, hey, what about this? What about that? Let's try this. Let's try that. And we generally try it.
And trust me, I've worked with people in the past where that is not the case.
And we've tried stuff and been like, yeah, let's do this. And then we try it and go, yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, that's happened too. I mean, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I learned this year that I'm like, music, there's this like kind of underlying thing of like, and I always think this is like so interesting, is like everyone knows, like for the most part, like everyone can, like what you just said, like we'll try it and we're all like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been writing now to where like it's a yes or no binary quick response.
Yeah.
If I try something and in my gut I say yes, I run with it.
Yeah.
And if in my gut I say no, I move on.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's interesting because sometimes like when you're working with artists, like, and you're both on like the same page and how much that like clicks, like, especially when you're doing like, I find when you're doing vocal comps,
Yeah.
and you're working with a singer and they do a bunch of different takes, like for the most part, like the good takes, like we all kind of like agree, like that's a good take.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and it's almost always like the first or the second one.
yeah. And it's like sometimes like the demo vocals sound better than like when you go in the booth and like, I don't know, people get like,
that like recording shy thing. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I've so many times, right, I've done that thing where you record a vocal take and it's like it's decent, but then you're like, oh, let's go for a better one. Then you're there for another 4 hours and it's none of them are even close. You end up using the first one.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting though about you know the electronic music and you know how you guys work as artists and stuff, you know, and we've talked about a little bit about this, not from the electronic side standpoint, but we've talked a little bit about bands in general, how, you know, for bands, it's almost as important to be in a band with people that you respect, people that you get along with, your friends with, people that you gel well with, almost as much as being in a band with good musicians. You know, it's almost as important. But what I find interesting is like you as an electronic artist, like it's really kind of just you. Yeah. And then, you know, you're working with this producer or with this vocalist or with this, you know, so you're working with all these different people. So you almost don't have that opportunity to, like with us, you know, we Killbillies has been around since the beginning of time, but you know, the version of it right now that we have is kind of found itself about 2.5 years ago, roughly, you know, almost 3 years now. You know, and it works really well and it gels real well and we're all really, you know, good friends, but you almost don't have that luxury. You're almost having to navigate those waters of like,
correct.
You know, but the flip side of it is if you find somebody and you're working with them and you don't necessarily gel with them really well, there's 1,000 other people you're going to be working with in your career. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I just for me it's like getting into electronic music too. It felt like I could do anything, you know. Like I got into making dubstep. Like now I can make like, I mean, I write like all kinds of music with other people. Like I do R&B, I do hip hop, I do.
How did you find yourself getting into dubstep? How did that happen?
Just early scene, rave scenes, and Skrillex. I'm trying to think on like exactly because originally I got into like house music.
Yeah. I was saying to you earlier, and I would just quickly say, I remember the exact moment that dubstep caught me, and it was I was in Manchester, and it was real late, and a DJ came in and he played that tune Jehovah by Rusko, and it was when it had just come out, and I was just, I guess I was just the right level of like messed up, you know, and it just hit me, and I was like, oh my word, what is that? And you know, from that moment, that specific moment, for the next, I don't know, 5 years, I was like chasing that tune, you know, trying to make something as good as that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Whatchamacallit, but I think it was a reggae, to be honest. It was like the swing, like it's 140 and it's like the upchucks.
Yeah.
And dubstep is the same way with like headbanging. It's like, you know, like it's the same swing.
Yeah.
And it's funny now because dubstep now it's like going back to its roots.
Oh, great.
So they're playing more like dub, like old school, like more like just a sub bass and like some nice drums with like some cool rhythms.
Well, that's cool. That's the stuff I like. So I'm very glad
yeah,
to hear.
Yeah. So it's like it's
you could
not
point
as
me
screechy,
in the direction of some
I
of
would
that
say.
stuff.
Like, I mean, there's still a big scene.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like it's really like the younger generation per se, and I think it's like an angst thing. Like like teenagers in like early 20s like want to like rage and like like let their emotions out, and then like as you get older you like kind of know yourself more and you're like, I just want to like vibe.
Yeah, that kind of like bro step type stuff.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Like it's basically like dance music's answer to like heavy metal.
Yeah,
it used to be. It used to be like the really heavy drum and bass that was that.
Yeah,
and then it got took over by dubstep. You know.
Yeah, by like bro step and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say that no, it's still kind of prevalent, but I really like how like 140, which is like more proper dub, like is kind of coming back.
Excellent.
And it's like there's a lot of guys on like major labels and stuff like that.
You got to point me towards some stuff to listen to, because that's the kind of dubstep I like.
Yeah, like, but truthfully, it's like, I'll put you on to. Truthfully, it's like what I found too is like that style of music is really good for late nights.
Yeah.
When people aren't like from 1 a.m. to like 4 or 5 a.m. Like it's not super heavy, and like, I mean, truthfully, like people are coming down from whatever they're taking, and they don't want to like rage anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like a really nice vibe, especially like I saw this one artist called Truth at Dance Festopia in Missouri or something, or St. Louis or something like that. And it was like outside, nighttime, and like he was just playing like vibey, like things that you can like just move to, but like it's not like screeching super loud.
Yeah.
Which was, it was like his set was so good, and it was just like perfect, and like that kind of stuff is
my first real EDM experience was, I mean, you know, my wife and I had heard a lot of stuff in the clubs here locally and stuff, and it was whatever local DJs and artists and stuff. You know, no big names or anything like that, and you know, we'd just go out and dance and just feel the beat and whatever.
Yeah.
And they were usually pretty crowded places, but it was never like some crazy rave or anything like that. And I don't know what possessed me, but one year I'm like, we should go to Ultra. So we went to Ultra. Holy crap, that was insane. And I mean, I think Deadmau5 was playing.
Yeah,
and stuff,
right.
And I was like, holy crap, like this is like, because to us,
this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, to us, we had been all these clubs and stuff, but it was like local stuff and small and whatever, and we were like, yeah, this is gonna be fun, this will be fun, it'll be kind of cool, you know. And then we got there and we were like, holy mackerel, this is unbelievable.
Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't want to butcher this, but I think it was Jim Morrison said in like 1979 that he sees the future of music like it's one man playing machines.
Yeah.
And like that's really what like it kind of, and it's crazy because like even like
came around then.
Like I was talking to like Adam, which is like really like my music mentor, and he's like, yeah, I don't really like hear about dubstep. It's not like that popular, but it's one of those niche things that like It is. Like,
Yeah.
there's festivals that, like,
Yeah.
are selling out. Like, all these, like, Okeechobee and EDCs, like,
Yeah.
they're huge.
Mhm.
But it's more of, like, a festival circuit type
Yeah.
thing. But they're massive. And it's like, you know, like, yo, Skrillex sold out Madison Square. Skrillex, Fred again, and Fortet sold out Madison Square Garden in, like, I think it was, like, 20 seconds or something like that.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and, like,
That's insane.
it is, yeah. I mean, I looked up the record and, like, Justin Bieber and, like did it in, like, 3 or something like that. Like that.
Of course he did. I
But-
mean, you know.
But still, like, the fact that dubstep did that, and, like, granted, like, Skrillex hasn't toured in a long time, and, like, he released an album, and, like, but still, like, the fact that, like, and it was a pop-up show. It wasn't like a plan. Like, he was like, hey, we're playing Madison Square Garden. The marketing was genius too. Like, he started throwing these, like, random shows in London. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fred again. He's like kind of blew up in, like, the EDM scene, like, really fast. But he was a songwriter, like, for a long time. Like, he was writing, like, Beyonce songs and stuff like that. And, like, pretty sure his parents were, like, in music, so he was always, like, behind the scenes. But, like, I don't know, I saw an interview with him and Zane Lowe, and he said that, like, one of his friends was like, you make, like, really cool music, maybe you should, like, do this artist thing, you know. And, like, I think he just had, like, the connections to kind of blow it up. But
yeah.
granted, like, him and Skrillex, like, linked up, and, like, they just took over, like, and to me it was, like, it was nice to see, like, them throwing pop-up shows and selling it out in, like,
Yeah,
few
for
hours,
sure.
you know,
Absolutely.
like, that's what I like about, like, electronic music and DJing is, like, you could do that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, with a band, it's hard, you know. It's hard to, like, hey, everyone, like, in everyone's lives, like, let's throw a show tonight. You know.
No, totally. There's a lot of freedom and independence
Yeah.
involved in it. Being a DJ, being a producer, it's just you, and you can, you know, you can fly around the place. It's so much easier to do all that kind
You
of
don't
thing.
have to
Yeah.
rely on all these other people, and it's
Yeah.
easy to throw your gear into some sort of backpack or something, and jump on a
Correct,
plane
yeah.
and go
Yeah.
somewhere, as opposed to, you know, I play a stand-up bass, so good luck bringing that on
Yeah.
in the overhead compartment.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I think it's probably time we heard some of your music. How does that sound?
Oh yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Am I doing the right thing by doing this? Blah blah. You know, just some fear bullshit. One thing about fear. Hey, remember this. One thing about fear. Fear is not real. That shit ain't real. That shit is an illusion. I just want to say that real quick, because am I doing the right thing by doing this? Blah blah. You know, just, you know, that was a big thing I had to deal with was a lot of fear.
to predict the future. In the sea storms coming. The earth was planted to went too far, it will fall off. Now the earth is round, if the shape change again, everybody would have started off. The average man can't prove up most of the things that they choose to speak of. And still go we search and find out the root of the truth that they seek of. Scholars teaching universities and claim that they're smart and cunning. Tell them find the cure when we sneeze, and that's when they're known stop running. And the rich get stitched up when they get caught. B.O.T. What I heal and broken bones and push with wet mouth. Weighing on this one. In the re-signs.
Take your love and light. Don't let them tell you when you know what's right. Ay, all aboard when it's time to take flight. Up to the sky, we are reach the higher heights. Ay, don't waste my time, come get in line. They try to take my shine, but they do not have a spine. Until Zion I steadily I climb, foot after foot, and it's flipping on me like. Don't come to my yard, you're not a friend, but an enemy. From a mile away, I should have sent your energy. Don't know what you're selling me, what Jah is telling me. Check it like a spelling bee, your energy is everything. You are a star, so go ahead and shine bright. You are a universe full of light, so go ahead and shine.
This episode and our festival are sponsored by Pure Honey magazine, and it is a staple down here. It's been just such a resource for South Florida music scene. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them, Ollie?
Yes, back in 2011, they went old school with the physical zine that provides both a service to the South Florida scene and a vehicle for businesses to get their messages out to a growing segment of readers who continue to embrace and admire a retro product.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know if you've ever read Pure Honey magazine. I'm sure you have. They're all over the place, and they're really great.
Yeah. Pure Honey has been around for quite a while now, and it is an absolute resource for musicians, for music, for shows, They have an amazing online calendar. They have an amazing calendar in the physical magazine. It's just been a huge resource for shows and musicians, and we are very, very fortunate. They reached out to us when they saw we were doing our festival for the second time this year, and they reached out to us and immediately said, we want to sponsor. How do we get involved? So having someone like Pure Honey involved in 561 Music Festival is absolutely gold to us.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes us feel official. So thank you, Pure Honey. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, and big props to Pure Honey for stepping up and sponsoring us. This episode and the festival are also sponsored by Backsaver Chiropractic Care and Therapy. These guys are absolutely amazing. Dr. Christopher White over there, great chiropractor, amazing just individual, amazing person, huge supporter of the arts and the local music scene. They were one of the very few sponsors, one of the only almost sponsors that we had for the first festival. When we had the first festival, Dr. Chris White stepped up to the plate and said, "How do I get involved? I'm going to do this. Let's do this." And was one of the purchased one of the top tier sponsorships that we had for the festival last year.
So kind. We couldn't have done it without it. It really saved us. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And this year, when we announced the festival, I don't think I had even finished the announcement that the festival was going to happen, and he was reaching out again. How do I get involved? Let's do this again. And once again, they are our top tier sponsor. So, thank you very much to Chris and his whole team over there. If you guys are involved in an auto accident or any personal injury issues, you have back issues, anything like that, go see Dr. Chris White. He's absolutely amazing, and Backsaver, those guys are all amazing over there. They do the massage therapy, they do the adjustments on your back, anything like that. So definitely go check them out and tell them we sent you, and tell them thank you for being huge sponsors of local music.
Yeah, excellent chiropractors and also patrons of the arts. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
561 Music is sponsored by Handlebars Bar and Grill. We have been sponsored by Handlebars for a long time now. They've been incredibly supportive of the podcast. There's been a lot of changes up there. Now the food is supplied by world-famous McRae's Backyard Barbecue. That's 1977. McRae's Barbecue is fantastic food. The first one I went to was down Riviera Beach, and it is really some killer barbecue. So if you're looking for delicious food, somewhere to ride your bike out on a Saturday or Sunday, and delicious beers, then Handlebars has got it all for you. We're so happy to have McRae's involved with the whole thing because they're really up the game in terms of the food. There is a bike night every second Thursday of the month, and Handlebars is open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come check out Handlebars in Tequesta, just off US 1. Hope to see you there. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Carver Bar is in Seagrape Square on Indian Town Road, and it is a carver bar. If you don't know anything about carver, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where that brings people together. You all take a shell of carver and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a carver bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of carver bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing, and some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby foot as they call it in France. And Yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Route Carver Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. So the last ad that we just listened to was an ad for one of our sponsors, Live Music Community, which is where we are right now. And above all else, it's a music school. And I just wondered if you had any advice for upcoming musicians.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't original advice. This is Phineas. He's a Billie Eilish's brother. He's a producer.
Sure.
Your taste is everything. Like, as you grow as a musician and you learn the rules, and if you're a producer, like, you'll learn, like, the things, and your taste is everything. So the things that you feel that makes you, like, double down on them. And because that's really what's going to distinguish you from the rest, because there's a lot of people that are doing music and like that make music and stuff, and it's like you got to be you. And I know that's like so cliche and like to say, because like me as an artist,
it's true,
like,
though.
Yeah, it makes total sense though.
I've been trying to find my lane, but it's more of like a thing of all of the people that you kind of like aspire to be like, and like put them all together in a pot, and like, and then find like the thing that that's yours. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that. I've over the years, I've when I've been really sort of aspiring to do something in the vein of someone else, I haven't, always had that much luck. But when I've just let it be me, that's always been the best stuff I've made. For sure.
Yeah, and it's like if you're playing instruments, like the certain type of way that you play, and like the certain type of scales that you kind of gravitate towards, and the certain type of sounds that like pleases your ears, just like double down. If you're a producer, like certain synths that you use, certain mixing styles that you like, how you do your mixes and stuff like that. Your taste that's and I guess one more, just like if you think this is your calling, like pursue it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's some great advice. I think I agree with it 100%. Be you. I tell it to singers a lot when I'm teaching people how to sing, and I'm like, you don't have to do an impersonation of someone else, just sing it how you sing. I say that to people all the time, guitar style as well. Find out what is you about the way you play. I think it's very important. Great advice.
That's funny, Mac, because like of all the things musically that I do, when I sing, I do find myself falling into these lanes of like, especially a cover song that I'm doing or whatever, I without even trying, I listen back to it, and it could be like, I don't know, like a song by the Police, and then I'm like, it sounded like I was trying to emulate Sting.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to do.
That's not good.
And a lot of kids do that. It's very rare that you're teaching a young person who doesn't do that, you know. And you have
I think
to
it's just too easy to like, especially if it's a cover song, because it already exists and it already sounds a certain way. So you want to, you know that it sounds good that way, so you try to emulate that without even trying to emulate it. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and like me as an audience person going to that 561 Music Festival, Sandman Sleeps, they sound unique.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they're not like, they sound like themselves, and like that was the band that out of everyone, like, you know, shout out them, like I was like, yo, they sound cool.
I'll tell you, when we had them on the show, on the podcast, like Christina just has such a unique voice. I absolutely love that girl's voice. It's
and like an aura too.
Yeah, she just oozes what I'm trying to say here, like showmanship and everything. She just, you know,
Good save.
yeah, showmanship and everything. She just comes across as like a real star, you know.
Yeah.
Like she really does.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Totally. So what I was trying to say earlier, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So you played us a couple of tunes. Could you tell us a little bit about the tunes you played?
Yeah. The first one was like this edit that from Suicide Boys. He did like an Instagram live that he was talking about like fear and like overcoming fear, and I feel like that's like a big message that I feel like overcoming fear. It's like the things that are like great are scary, you know, and it's like you're not gonna achieve greatness unless you're willing to like overcome that fear.
I agree with that. You know you're on the right path when you've got butterflies in your stomach.
Exactly. And then I did like a vocal edit that I was like, like when I was playing the song, and that was what I was saying like about that unique thing. Like I made like the drop, and then I was just listening to it, and I was like, make your mind up, make your mind up. See through the... Can I curse in here?
Yeah.
See through the bullshit. See through the bullshit. Make your mind up. Make your mind up. And that was like just... Like, there wasn't like I was like trying to write something. I was just like listening to it, and I was like, oh, like this is coming to me. And,
neat.
And then the second song, and then like... the second song is like this song that I made. This was really cool because I was producing at a friend's house, and like... we were trying to like write a drop, and like I have like ADHD when I'm in studio, so if somebody's like working, like I'll be on my laptop working, and then like he was working on something, and then I just like made this drop real quick, and I played it, and he's like, get out of here. And he's like, it was so fire. And I showed some of my friends, like these are also unreleased songs too.
Oh, cool.
Probably gonna be released sometime soon. And then the third song is with Tyler G, Fives Farm. And that was actually the first song we wrote together that I was telling you guys early off mic. Yeah, and cool. That song is really cool, man. It's called Shine Bright. And it's just like about people like kind of like, you know, trying to like dim your light and stuff.
Right.
And you know, the chorus, or like right before it goes like drops, it's like, so go ahead and shine.
Yeah, that's lovely.
But yeah, it's something that I've been trying to do more with like electronic music, is incorporate more songwriting and like messaging on it. So when I work with like vocalists and stuff, I just try to make sure like what we're saying is like positive stuff.
You know, the trap I always fall into when I'm making electronic music is overcomplicating it. Like thinking that the thing that's going to fix it is adding more, when it's actually just making the things that are already there better.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like I think that's just becoming a better producer. You learn that like less is more, and they always say it, but like you don't really. And I don't think it's like, because like the second song I played too, like I showed a lot of my friends that, and they're like, yo, that's sick. And like it is so simple. It's like a kick, snare, hi-hat, one bass line, and then like a response bass line, just doing like this. And they're really, really like, I made it so fast. And I think that's like, you just get better over time. I think making music is like this thing that's like, you can't cut corners. Like it's just time. It's like you do it, like
you're not wrong there.
You know, it's like, I don't know, like maybe with sports or something, like I don't play a lot of sports. So like maybe if you're like a baseball pitcher, like if you just pitch a bunch of times, like you're just gonna get better, and you can't necessarily say like, oh, because of like sometimes like you can say like because of this and this, but like it's just practice and repetition.
Yeah,
and, like,
I agreed.
Honestly, like this year was the year that for me that I like that came into fruition in terms of like when I'm writing now, like I don't try as hard, you know, and it just like comes a little bit more naturally because
Nice.
just repetition.
So we took a couple of pictures of the live setup that you brought in. Why don't we talk about that a little bit? So what we got here?
So I mean, typically I just like DJ with a CDJ and a mixer, and I mean really what I want to incorporate more, but I forgot some chords and stuff, is just another MIDI controller so I can do some more like live synth layouts and stuff.
Okay.
But honestly, like it's not that complicated.
Sure.
I do try to like use a lot of the effects and stuff and mixing. But I think the big thing with like DJing and stuff, it's really like stage presence and just knowing what songs work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. It's like it's about taste. Again.
Yeah. It's really like
feeling the vibe.
Taste. It's really like taste and playing songs that when they hit, like everyone is like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man, because you have to do that with like, it's like sounds that people haven't heard before.
Yeah.
You know, and being like, well, this is a new. I've never heard anything like this.
And just tuning into the vibe of the room at the time. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we got a picture of your laptop up here as well. What program are you running on there?
I just run Serato.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy too complicated.
Well, I thought this would be a good opportunity, seeing as the laptop's up there, to kind of segue into talking about what kind of things you use to make your music. Like, are there any apps you can't do without? Any plugins you can't do without?
I use Ableton.
Yeah.
And Serum is like my go-to for like synth design and bass designs. So I definitely couldn't do without Serum. I don't know, man, because now it's like I'm at a point now where I'm like just trying to challenge myself. So like some days I'll just try to make things with manipulating samples, or like let's make a bass from this chair.
Yeah.
You know, but I would definitely say Serum is definitely my go-to. And
do you use anything outside of the computer, or are you all in box?
I mean, sometimes we do like guitars and like live recording, and
I
like,
guess what I was more
like
sort
that.
of talking about is like sort of outboard stuff, like compressors, stuff like that.
No. I mean, I just can't afford it.
Sure, no, you're like, dude, right there with you. There's this,
welcome to being a musician.
We were joking about that earlier, but it's so true. And there's a ton of stuff that on my list that I would just love to get. I want to get an outboard distressor. I want one of those.
Yeah. My thing is, I want to get the CLB. I think it's like the CLB2 or something. It's like the compressor.
Yeah.
That I heard is really good. And it's like when you're doing vocal recordings, you're like trying to like match how good like vocals sound with like these hit records and stuff.
Tell
like,
me about it. You need a Newman and like an Avalon preamp or something
they have
like that.
really good outboard gear, and it's like, but at the same time, like that just means you have to make the song better, because a good song will sound good. You know, like a good an engineer told me once, like a good singer will sound good on anything. You know? And if the lyrics are there, and like even like Kodak Black, if you listen to like some of his songs early on that like got him popular, like the mixes are terrible, the vocal recordings are like, they are not good.
Yeah.
You know, compared to like now and stuff. Even like Diplo released a song with Kodak Black. It's like a country song that he recorded on his iPhone. He recorded the song on his iPhone, and Kodak was like drunk or something, and then he like sang like a country song, and he recorded on his iPhone and like made a song from it, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, like, so to me it's like we don't have access to the gear, but we have access to like the actual talent behind the gear. And if you can just make that outshine the gear, once the gear comes in, like your stuff is going to be, you know, super nice.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree with all of that. So what's next for you, man? Have you got any releases coming out? Any shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm playing Fort Lauderdale, this thing called Pub Dubs 4-6. That's going to be dope. I think they're bringing down I don't know if I can honestly announce it, but they're bringing down a little bit bigger of an artist, and so
nice.
There will definitely be a good crowd there. And then I got an EP coming out in summer with a smaller dubstep label out of Tampa called Summonar.
Cool.
And just definitely I'm gonna be releasing music consistently throughout the years and stuff.
Well, I'm going to keep my eyes open because, I didn't know a huge amount about what you were doing, but definitely like what I hear. And the way that you talk about it too, you're very thoughtful and intelligent and focused on it, which is, that means a lot to me. Just knowing that the person behind the music is really thinking about it,
Yeah, we got to link up on like the sync stuff because you mentioned you have like a group of, because I would love to like work with more people and stuff. And
for sure.
Like I said, like I literally make like, because that's the thing with the sync world, like you have to be able to make all genres. Like, to where it's like, hey, I need a song that sounds like a haunted, like Billie Eilish type song, and then like you have to be able to produce that.
You just call it Billie Eilish and say, "Hey, can we work together?"
Wouldn't that be nice?
One day. Hey, she there was an interview where she was saying like, she was like, "Yeah, I was just like listening to dubstep in the green room," and she's like, "That shit bangs." She's like, "That was pretty hard," and I was like, "Yo, Billy, shouted out dubstep."
That's great. I love it. What we got coming up? So we got St. Patrick's Day.
About 1,000 gigs. We have
St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, but we're also playing at Paddy Max the day before.
Yeah, we're playing at Paddy Max the day before, which by the time you're listening to this will have already happened.
Oh, that's true.
And then we're playing on St. Paddy's Day on Friday. We're playing all day from noon to midnight on the outside stage in the tent.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on Friday morning, come to Paddy Max right now.
Right now. Come to Paddy Max right now. Well, unless it's Ricky, then don't come right now because it's probably 7 a.m. and we won't be there.
Well, do and just wait. Pull out a deck chair and just hang out.
Yes.
It's St. Patty's Day, like
Friday,
right?
Yeah.
So
it's gonna get crazy. At
well,
Paddy
why
Max.
would you be? I mean, we know all about it because it's like our
It's our
it's our
genre
bread
that
and
we
butter.
play.
Yeah. You guys probably play.
But yeah, we're playing. Yeah, so we're playing on the outside stage. I think Paddy Max has a bunch of other artists coming in. I'm playing on the inside stage too.
Yeah.
But we're playing the outside stage noon to midnight.
Yeah, Carl Schmidt, the fiddle player, and Paddy. He's going to be there. Paddy King,
The Fiddle King.
Yeah. And a bunch of other really, really good people. A girl called Ali Hayes.
Yep. From Ireland.
Yeah. and more. I booked quite a few acts that I think are really, really great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
And then you and James are doing Square Grouper on Saturday?
That's right.
3 to 6.
I guess an Irish themed.
And I'm trying to figure out how we're managing this, but somehow you guys are playing 3 to 6 at Square Grouper, and then we're supposed to be playing 7 to 11.
But basically we just got to send you there with the gear.
I'm just gonna have to set up and wait for you guys to show up.
Basically, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I saw the times and I was like, "Well, that's a little tight."
Yeah, it's mega tight.
Wait, so you're playing from what
3 to
time?
6 and then 7 to 11.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
That's a lot of time.
Yep.
I used to do like 5-hour DJ gigs, and like those were
long,
intense.
man. It's
Like
long.
those are so like at the end of the night. You know, it's crazy because at the end of the night, I'm still amped. It's so weird for me. Like when I perform, it's like I just get this like energy afterwards. And I'm like, it's 2 o'clock. Because I remember I used to play like a lot of college fraternities and stuff. And like I'd play from like 9 till 3 in the morning.
Yep.
And like I would see the party progress and like everyone like be normal. And then like everyone gets super blasted. And then, like, at the end of everyone's, like, super tired, and I would be done. And I'd be like, all right, like, who's ready to party?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
everyone's done.
Yeah, that's me. I finish a show and I'm usually pretty jacked up, and then like I'm just amped and like ready to go again. And then, but as soon as I get home, I'm I'm out.
I wish I was, man. I stay amped up for hours. It's a problem.
No.
It's a problem. I'll get home. I'll be so because I do get quite worked up to play just inside, I get a bit anxious and I get excited, and then you play the gig and you're moving around and get the blood pumping. So I get home and I'm like, all right, which used to be like a real problem because I'd be like, right, let's go out drinking, something like that. I don't do that anymore, thankfully. But
well, it's funny if I go home and do anything other than watch TV. Like if I, sit on my computer and do a little work or something, work on a logo that Justin wants me to work on, do stuff. If I do anything like that, or work on some stuff, I could work on the house. Like I anything I go home and do. Like if I'm amped up and I'm doing this stuff, I literally will lose track of time, and suddenly it's like 5 a.m. The sun's coming up. Whatever. But if I go home and sit on the couch for 15 seconds and turn on the TV, that's it. I'm out. I don't know why. The TV puts me to sleep, and it's sad because I'll sit down and genuinely be like, well, let me catch up on this TV show that I haven't watched in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't watch movies. Like,
it sucks.
It's my wife. Watching movies with my wife, she's out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, like I literally can't watch movies because when I lay down, I'm blessed because like some people have they have like insomnia. Like I'm out like a light.
I'm jealous, man.
That's get home and like, especially like after a gig, like, and you played a really good gig, and it's like you're happy and you're like, man, that was great. My soul is like refilled right now, and like you get home and you like put on a movie, and then 2 seconds later I'm out.
That's hilarious.
And then we have some little, I don't know, some tiny little event or something coming up on April 1st. What is it?
Is it some kind of April Fool's joke that you're playing?
No. I think it's some little, I don't know, a little festival or something.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
561 Music Fest, baby.
561 Music Fest.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So April 1st, if you haven't heard about this, you either live under a rock or you're not listening to the podcast, neither of which are good scenarios because rocks hurt and not listening to this podcast is a big no-no. So 561 Music Festival 2. That's right. We've done this before. We're doing it again.
Yeah, baby.
20 bands. Octogato, Tasty Vibrations, Uproot Hootenanny, Jake Walden, Joey Caldereo, Bryce Allen, Libica, Killbillies, The Shake, 1983, Dominic Delaney and the Dead Language, The Buck Stops Here, Rogue Theory, Young Fiction, Hadi, Stumble Steady, Eastway, Andy Styron, Euphobia, and Fox Maple Band. 20 bands for $10, folks. It's 50 cents a band.
Yep.
We have 2 stages. We're starting on one stage. As one band is playing, the other one is setting up, so there will never be a silent moment from 12 noon until 11 p.m. And this year, we've got a whole bunch of more sponsors than we had last year. This year, we have Backsavers again, so thanks to them for coming back a second year in a row. We have Oasis Kava Root Bar.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes.
It's Oasis Root
Kava Bar. I always say that backwards. My apologies. But we have them as a sponsor this year for the festival, and they have actually been sponsoring the podcast for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So we thank them immensely for that.
Yeah.
Pure Honey Magazine jumped on board this year. Raincat Studios jumped on board. Easy Tees is back again, supplying T-shirts for us. Live Music Community, of course, always supporting us in every way they can. Galliano Family Salons now. James owns Galliano Salon, and he's running our second stage, all of our sound and everything for that. So he's on board as a sponsor this year. And of course, Matthews Brewery, which is where this is at in Lake Worth. Yeah. And without him supplying a location, then we'd be out of luck. So. Totally.
And if you see the flyers around town, it might just be a little confusing because Matthews is on there and it doesn't necessarily say it's at Matthews, but it is at Matthews Brewing. So if you want to come down to 561 Music Festival, it's at Matthews Brewery in Lake Worth.
Oh, it says it though.
Oh, I know it does.
It says it all over everywhere.
I'm not busting your balls about your thing. I just saw the flyer earlier, and it was a bit hard to see where it was.
Yeah,
at.
No worries, man. It's for those of you that don't know yet, it is $10 in advance or $10 at the door. You can get tickets in advance at 561 Music Fest or 561musicfestival.com. If that's too hard to remember, just go to 561music.com, and there is a festival link in the top right-hand corner. You click that, it takes you right to the ticket links. There are still some sponsorship opportunities. If you go to the ticket links, the drop-down menu has your options for tickets, and it also has sponsorship opportunities at different tiers and different levels. You have 2 choices for tickets if you purchase them in advance. If you purchase them that at the door, the only option you have is $10 to get in day of show. If you purchase them in advance, you have 2 options. You have a $10 general admission ticket. You have a $25 general admission plus, and what that gets you is a ticket and a T-shirt. And so essentially, you're saving $10 because the T-shirt's going to be $25 when you get to the show.
Nice.
And you give us your size and everything, and I'll make sure that we have one ready for you in your size this year, as opposed to trying to like scramble to find a size sizes for everybody.
I love that you called it General Admission Plus. It sounds like an airline thing.
Right.
It's cool.
And then we have, we're going to have the T-shirts for sale at the festival. If you do not get one in advance, we will have T-shirts for sale at the festival. They will be specific to this year with the bands listed on it, 561 Music, Festival 2 on there, the logo, etc. We do have a limited number, and by limited, I mean a very small number of festival T-shirts from last year still left over, which we will probably bring with us. And if you did not get a T-shirt last year, you didn't make it to the festival, or you forgot to pick up a T-shirt and you highly regret it, there is still a small chance that we'll have one in your size. You can purchase that, and we will probably sell those for less than the $25 ones for this year. It'll be like some sort of discounted or something.
Yeah.
We're going to have...
Even though they're vintage and they should be more.
They should be 3 times the price. And then when I sign them, they immediately drop in price to $1. And then we're going to have the 561 Music living room, and we're gonna have all the artists stop by, and you and I are gonna chat with them for about 5 minutes in between shows and stuff, in between playing and stuff, and then we're gonna use that to put together a reel for our 100th episode, which we will also be celebrating during the music festival. We are celebrating 100 podcast episodes. I can't even believe we have gotten this far.
I know, it's so cool. And so next week we're doing 2 shows so that we can catch up to the right amount.
Because we had a week where the 2 of us were feeling under the weather, and we skipped a week, and so it put us behind 1 week. And so next week we're doing a bonus episode. It'll have Octogato on it. Yeah. So we're doing 2 episodes next week. Puts us back on track, and we will still be hitting our 100th episode the week right after the episode, right after the festival. So
yeah, and we had to get Octogato on before the festival too. Yes. It wouldn't have made sense otherwise.
Right. No, of course. And man, I still can't believe it feels like, last week that you and I were sitting around going, we should do a podcast, and then now all of a sudden we're like, hey, 2 years, 2 major I mean, I consider these major festivals, 20 bands. That's a big deal, man.
Sure.
2 years, 2 major festivals, a bunch of pop-up shows, and 100 episodes later, and holy crap, here we are.
Yeah, man. And I can't thank you enough, Hector. It's been a good ride.
I appreciate it, man. It's been awesome. And yeah, we're really hoping. We've been seeing an increase in ticket sales as we get closer. Last year, of course, a lot of people wait till right before, the week of, etc. And so last year we had a very small amount of tickets that sold prior to the event. The day before, we had a whole bunch of tickets sold online, and then the day of, we sold a ton of tickets. Yeah. We had a lot. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people last year. So I'm kind of seeing that trend a little bit again this year. But I will say that we're at twice the amount of tickets that we had sold at this point last year. So I am seeing some more movement this year.
It's looking good. And if you want us to not feel like we're going to have a heart attack, please buy tickets early.
Well, and this year, because we have more sponsors, we were able to, and actually I'll backtrack a second. You guys have heard us say this 1,000 times every episode, and we'll just keep saying it. Ben and I are not doing this to make money. We're not doing this to get rich. We're not doing this to line our pockets. We do this because we genuinely believe in the 561 music scene. We genuinely believe on the artists that have been on the podcast. We genuinely believe in the artists that will be on the podcast. We have an amazing, thriving local music artist, original music scene, and we really believe in it, which is why we did the podcast in the first place. Which is why we've been putting our heart and soul and good hard-earned cash into these festivals. Why? Because we really believe in you guys, and we feel like you guys need that, that extra avenue to showcase yourselves and showcase your stuff. And,
exactly. It gives us all something else to do other than play shows around here.
Well, and also because Ben and I are playing every weekend, so it gives us an opportunity to go see 20 of you guys at one time. Let's be selfish about it. But that being said, last year we only had a few sponsors. We had a few in-kind sponsors and I think 1 or 2 monetary sponsors. So, last year was a real struggle to make ends meet with the festival and not go belly up and bankrupt. But this year we have sponsors. We have a lot more sponsors. We had some in-kind sponsors. We had just a lot of sponsors that stepped up to the plate. And so this year we had a little bit of extra money, and so we've been doing some ad spend and stuff, man. We Pure Honey partnered with us, and so we have an ad that ran in Pure Honey. We have Pure Honey Magazine is actually putting out a festival preview article, which once that posts, we're going to share the crap out of that.
Imagine if they just completely just destroyed us in that article.
No. Or what if they got us confused and it's all about Sunfest? They're like, oh crap, wrong festival. They're doing an amazing job. I just sent over all the info that they had asked us for. So they're going to be putting together a fantastic article as a preview article for the festival. I'm really excited to see what they come up with for that.
Yeah, man.
We have been running the crap out of social media ads and social media posts. Big shout out to Danielle, who has been kicking ass, posting daily, every day about the festival, different things, posting about the sponsors, posting little clips on the bands, posting, get your tickets, posting volunteer forms, all that stuff. She's just been kicking ass with that. So we've been running social media campaigns as well, paid campaigns on both Facebook and Instagram.
Did a radio ad?
We just locked in a radio ad, which is going to run starting Sunday. It's going to run on iHeartMedia, and it's running on Real Radio ZZR. It's running on the Gator. It's running on not WVV. That's the old call letters. Wild 95.5, and it's running on WJNO News Radio. So that'll be running, periodically throughout the day for the 2 weeks prior to the event. So starting like Sunday through the Friday right before the event. So we have radio ads coming. We have billboards.
The billboards was crazy.
We have
so let me just say something about that. Right, I was having a conversation with you. I had a little bit of a thought. I was like, oh, why don't we do billboards? Wouldn't that be cool? And in my head, I was like, yeah, why don't we just buy like a Learjet? I didn't expect it to happen. And then the next day, and Hector goes, oh, actually, I kind of know someone. So then my ears picked up a little bit. I was like, really? And a couple of days later, Hector's like, well, here's the billboard. We did it.
Yeah, I sent you pictures, and I sent you pictures, and you're like, is that the design? I'm like, no, that's the billboard.
Wow,
you're like,
crazy.
Holy crap.
Where's the billboard at?
We have 3 of them. We have one that is the digital billboard, so it's the ones that like rotate with other ads and stuff.
Yeah.
But they get served up on. There's one eastbound on 10th Avenue and 95. There's one southbound at Lake Worth Road in 95, and there's one northbound at Lake Worth Road in 95.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
that's so cool.
So we did them down there in that area just because that's where Matthews is and that's where the festival is going to be.
I feel like I can die happy and I've been on a billboard.
Right, right. So billboards. We have, like I said, we have the radio ads that are going to be starting, which is really fun. I went back and forth with them and got all that copy down and everything, and that was really fun. Like, I'm really excited about all the advertising we're doing this year. So
totally, man. And next year, we'll do another one, and next year I really want to have a bit more of a varied sort of bill. Get some rap artists on there, get more EDM. In general, cool I think it would be important to mix it up a bit more next year. So stay tuned on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be cool to have a have the 2 stages with all the bands and stuff, but then have like an EDM tent or something. Somebody can just go chill out of there for a little bit and listen to some stuff.
Yeah, they do. I have some friends that throw events, and silent disco is a thing.
Yeah.
So they usually they'll have like
I love that.
They have one main like performance area, and then they have like a little tent with like a silent disco.
It's pretty fun. I've done it. I think the only thing I miss with that is the bass, because you don't get the feeling of the bass. But it is loads of fun.
But I love. My wife and I have done that a few times where we've gone to the silent disco stuff, and I got to tell you, what I love the most about it is when you go and you have options, that you have like 3 or 4 channels, that you can switch to. She's listening to one thing and she's doing her dance, and I'm listening to something else and I'm doing a completely different dance, and it's like we look like idiots, but we love it. We have so much fun doing it.
It's like I feel like it's like a new thing because a lot of festivals now, like they're doing silent disco.
I think it's been around for a little bit, but it's getting popular.
It's
getting popular.
I think the first time I went to one was around like 2006, 2007 at Glastonbury Festival in England. But that was like really early doors, I think.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So 561musicfestival.com, 561musicfest.com. That gets you to your ticket links. If that's too far or too long to remember of a name, you can go to our socials at 561music podcast. All of our socials are that, or you can just go right to the website, 561music.com. 561music.com gets you to Killbillies, it gets you to the YouTube channel, it gets you to the podcast to listen to it. You can look up all the artists we've had here in the past on there. There's profile pages for every single artist we've ever had on here. All the episodes are on there. All the sponsors are on there. You can go there. There is a link to submit if you'd like to be on the podcast. There's a link to submit. There's a link to donate. There's a link to become a sponsor. There's a link to the festival. You can go straight to the festival page and buy tickets or become a sponsor for the festival. And there is a volunteer link. There's actually a volunteer tab on there. If you would like to help us out, we need volunteers for the festival. We had a bunch of people that helped us out last year. We're going to need that again this year. If
Lucas helped us out last year.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not, we're not asking you to come out and, and spend, it's a 12-hour festival. So we're not asking you to come out and spend 12 hours, working. There's time slots on the volunteer form when you fill out. You give us all your information. You give us your shirt size. You'll get in for free. You'll get a free volunteer shirt that's actually a 561 Music Festival shirt. The only difference is it'll just say volunteer on it, so you get a free T-shirt out of it. And all you got to give us is a couple hours. If you give us like 2 hours, you can spend the rest of the day at the festival having fun and and chilling out. And doing
it's
your
totally
thing
worth
and
it.
During it, yeah,
it's really worth it.
So we need people. We need a handful of people for tickets and stuff at the doors, and we need some. The big thing we need right now is we need parking lot people. There's a lot of businesses around there that we can't block with cars, and so we just need people watching the cars and stuff for for an hour or two for a shift, if you will.
I got a guy.
But yeah, so we've got a good handful of people already, but we could use a few more. We could use a few more.
Yeah.
So 561 Music Fest, 561musicfestival.com. Either one gets you to the ticket links, and 561music.com gets you to everything.
Sir. Well, you are so wonderful at that. I say it every week, but you really are. You killed it. And thanks so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It was awesome.
This is the first podcast I did. I've done so far, so
cool.
Nice, man.
I've been looking forward to it for a minute.
You've really inspired me to go home and make some beats, man. I'm fantasizing about getting into Massive and making some gnarly bass lines.
Oh yeah, Massive is like the bomb.
Yeah, totally. All right, wicked.
Well, it was a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Peace out. See you later.